So I just saw this article this afternoon about what is it called? Famous royal tiaras from around the world explain Princess Diana's iconic lovers, not Grand Duchess of Russia's smuggled diamond headpiece and more sparkling sagas. And it just got me to thinking as I scrolled down and I looked at these three British royals. I just thought to myself, how actually unimportant it is to put this on your head and say that somehow, because I just remember how there was this big thing with Meghan and the tiara for her wedding, and it was such a big to do, such a big story about tiaras. And I'm not even sure if since then Meghan was ever photographed in a tiara after that, but it was such a big to do. And it seems so important to people, not just to these women, not just to other royals, but to the public. It's like, oh my gosh, Meghan is wearing a tiara and this is wearing a tiara, and it's such a big deal. And in light of everything, Princess Diana's tragic death, the Queen Elizabeth's demise, Kate's lengthy illness with that disease that begins with the letter C, I hate that word. Um, it just sort of, for me, puts everything in perspective about just how completely trivial and maybe even silly it is to fight over tiaras, to make a big deal about who can put a tiara on her head. It doesn't mean anything. Well, in the end, nothing really means anything. I remember this one time there was a big flood in it might have been in Louisiana in the USA after a big hurricane, and there was this one video of all these very expensive cars that were, just like garbage, just floating in the water, muddy, because the hurricane did not discriminate against cheap little cars like a Nissan and like an Audi or, other more fancy cars. I mean, it just completely, or was it a tornado? Maybe it was a tornado and not a hurricane. It was some kind of natural disaster. But there was this video, and this guy on the video just said, how it just puts everything in perspective for him that all of this is just garbage. It's just garbage. Nobody should really be taking any of this stuff seriously. It's just stuff. Nature doesn't care. And it's so fleeting. It's so meaningless. So I'm just looking at this article and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, are we back to these tiaras again? And why is it so important for some people? The fact, I mean, you can buy a tiara in a store these days and put it on your head. You don't have to be called a king, queen. Well, not a king, a queen, or a princess, or a duchess. I mean, brides can put tiaras on their heads, but it's just that I feel like since Meghan joined the royal family, they've made such a big deal about these tiaras, which, as beautiful as these women are wearing these tiaras, it really is just silly. It's really silly. The emphasis they put on the tiaras, it was such a scandal that, Meghan apparently wanted to wear, allegedly, I have no idea, one tiara, and the queen wanted to wear a different tiara. And they make a big deal about the tiara. Even for King Charles's coronation, there was all this to do about tiaras because they were afraid that Meghan would attend and she would get to wear a tiara. Totally ridiculous when you consider the broader context. You know, I mean, you're still going to die, right? You can still become sick. You can still end up, not even being part of that environment anymore. The tiara means absolutely nothing. Tiaras are silly little indulgences that entertain, but the point is, people should not put so much importance and emphasis on it. It's a trinket, which, when you consider life, death, health, all of these other things, I mean, it just is a meaningless trinket. I just thought I would just throw that out there. Anyway, how are you guys? It's Sunday, very slow news day, obviously. And I was just scrolling and I saw this and I thought, oh, how beautiful, but how silly, this whole thing with the tiara was, you know. And yeah, I don't know what you think, but what does it say? Princess Diana voluminous walk down aisle through the years. Okay, I just clicked on something that doesn't even take me to a tiara. But okay, so that's it for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.